Welcome, everybody. It's a pleasure to have you all here.
Yeah, so my name is Ellen. It's so nice to see familiar and new faces. And I don't know if I told you this, Azul, but the first time that I saw Azul's name or heard, like before I even saw her, just saw her name, I was like, I'm going to do something with Azul. And I was like, really? I can't wait to see what that is and when that happens. And then, gosh, I don't know, was it a month ago? I pre-ordered Mavis's book. It's that simple. I sent her an email right away. Had never emailed Mavis before, and I said we need to talk because I didn't want to tell her in an email what my idea was because I thought, well, maybe I don't know what I was just wanted to talk to her. So I said, this book needs to be a program. And she said, well, will you do it with me? And I said, of course I'll do it with you. And then we spoke and she was like, well, sometimes this happens and sometimes this happens. And, just an hour ago, Azul messaged me and said the same thing. You two should do it together. And I said, okay, will you come be our guest? So that's how this whole thing got started. Divine Mind and Mavis created this amazing book. You don't even have to have it. You don't even have to have a copy of the book to get value out of the program, although you won't get the full value out of the book. Sharon, it would be great if you could awesome mute yourself. Thank you. And so here we are on this journey together. For those of you who don't know, the gazillion people that I've studied with, mentored with, partnered with, there's been a lot. And since my very first conversation with Mavis, everything that I knew, I didn't even know that what I knew about this understanding was still way up here. I knew a lot of things had landed down in my body. I know I had a lot of transformations and shifts, but I didn't know how much was still operating mostly from my intellectual mind. And things have just from being in programs with Mavis and this book, things have just landed so beautifully inside of me. And so this living from simplicity is how my life is now. And there's just so much evidence in how I navigated my mom's passing 6 weeks ago. And since, all the feelings, and I'm just so deeply feeling and living with all the feelings and not even having a preference. It's wild. I don't even have a preference for what feeling I'm having now. Is that true? I mean, of course, I like the more expanded, uplifting feelings, but let's just say I'm really not bothered. I'm really not bothered by the profound grief moments that I have or sadness. Someone asked me if I still have any anger left around the things that happened when my mom was in a facility. And my immediate response was, oh, no, I don't do anger. But it was like, no, I do. And then the anger came in and I felt it and something shifted. And I don't, like when I think about this facility and the things that occurred that many of you have heard stories about, they don't have the energy of anger anymore. And that's astounding to me. So I'm here to learn and explore more. And I really now see how Sid's teaching that we all have access to wisdom and that each of our own wisdom is so valuable. I really see how powerful that is to be in a group of people who share that. And so that's what we're looking forward to is sharing and hearing hearing from you what you see and hear fresh and new today. What about for you, Azul?
Well, for me, it was like a lovely and wonderful coincidence the way we thought about the program at the same time, the same day. Um, I have been, some of you know, some others don't know, but I'm Mavis project manager, and she's also my mentor. I'm also a coach. I also offer trainings. And for me, being mentored by Mavis has been extremely impactful, because when you have like a container that is always pointing you in that direction, but in a very simple, common sense way, you start living from it instead of having, as Ellen said, an intellectual understanding. My experience was that I was learning through experience to really see all these truths working in my life. In the book that I have here too, um, each letter has a extremely valuable piece of information that if you read quickly the letter, you could think, yeah, that's too simple, yeah, nice, and just leave it there. But when you put it to the test, when you really like test it out and see how true it is in your life becomes easier and easier, which doesn't mean that we don't experience feelings that we don't enjoy, like anger, sadness, whatever. But knowing how we create our experiences and knowing that we are always safe changes everything. Life is the same, but it's completely different. So my intention when offering this program with Ellen was to provide the experience of a group that for 9 weeks we are together, and where we can remind each other how life really works. So, but we didn't want today to be about what we are going to do about the program. We just wanted to start it today with all of you here. In order to do that, we would like you to just relax and listen to Ellen while she reads the most important piece of information, that is the user's manual in a nutshell, that is the secret that Mavis wrote. Feel free to turn off your camera if you want to relax more in that way, or just put yourself comfortable and let's listen to this information and then we keep sharing. Okay? Sounds fine? You have to say yes. Okay.
I've read this letter so many times. And when I just pause and think about what happens when I witness someone listening to this letter and the ripple effect in the world, I'm blown away. It's like I feel like my life's mission is accomplished just by seeing one person's reaction to this. So excuse me for, whew. Okay, here we go. Dear kids and former kids, I have a secret to tell you. Nobody meant to keep it from you. It's just that it's been one of those things that's so obvious that people couldn't see it, like looking all over for the key that you have in your hand. The secret is that you are already a completely whole, perfect person. You are not damaged goods. You are not incomplete. You are not flawed. You are not unfinished. You do not need remodeling, fixing, polishing, or major rehabilitation. You already have within you everything that you need to live a wonderful life. You have common sense, wisdom, genius, creativity, humor, self-esteem. You are pure potential. You are missing nothing. The only thing that can keep you from enjoying all that you already are is a thought. One thought, your thought, not somebody else's thought, your thought. Whatever thought you're thinking at the moment that feels more important to think than feeling grateful, alive, content, joyful, optimistic, loving, and at peace. That's the only thing between you and happiness. And guess who's in charge of your thinking? Guess who gets to decide where your attention goes? Guess who gets to write, produce, direct, and star in the moment you're in the middle of? You, just you. Not your past stored thoughts, not your future. Did you ever notice that it never shows up? Not your parents, they all think their own thoughts, or your friends, ditto, or school or television or situations or circumstances or anything else, just you. Thinking is an awesome capability. Like any capability, it can be used whether as a tool or as a weapon against ourselves and others. And just like with any other tool, we can tell whether we're using it for or against ourselves by how it feels. When we think against ourselves or others, we get in trouble. When we don't, we usually stay out of trouble. Feelings exist to warn us away from using our thinking to create trouble in our lives and to guide us back to our natural, healthy ability to live our lives to the fullest. So please remember that your thoughts are not always telling you the truth. When we're in low moods, feeling down, our thoughts are not to be trusted. Our IQ drops. When our thoughts pass and we lighten up, our thinking is once again creative, positive, our IQ goes up. The only way you can feel badly about yourself and your life is if you think badly about them. It's up to you. Every single minute you're alive, it's always up to you. This is the best, most liberating secret I've ever learned, and I want you to know it too. Love, Mavis. You know, many people refer to Sid's quote, Sid Meng's quote, and it was actually posted on Facebook today. If the only thing that people ever learned was to never be afraid of their own experience, that would change the world. Like, I just think, like, if everyone read this letter once, that would change the world.
Phyllis just wrote us in the chat, is this for people who are feeling down? I lost my son, my only child, age 25. First of all, Phyllis, I'm so sorry. My heart goes to you. And yes, especially in those moments, this could be really helpful. Life, being human, means that we have huge challenges, and you have one of the biggest I can think of. But we are also connected with infinite wisdom that allow us to navigate any kind of situation in a way that keep us safe of our own thinking. You know, when we have a big challenge like you have, feelings are showing up all the time, at every minute. And maybe things are very helpful to like guide us about how can we feel those feelings and be okay with the experience, even if it's really, really challenging.
Yeah, thank you, Azul, and please, my heart goes out to you. I can't imagine, but I want you to know you're not the only person in this room right now who lost a child. I have not lost a child, but I'm here to tell you, you are not the only person right now in this room who's lost a child. And I was on a call yesterday with Mavis when she shared about losing a child before this understanding. And what's been really helpful to me is to bear witness to the human parent, to the human, forget the parent, to the human who's having this experience, who's feeling this grief. Like in the past, I would have embraced, it would have been like, oh, you're supposed to embrace the grief. No, embrace the human. Allow your divine self to embrace the human who's having these deep feelings. Thank you for being here.
I remember the first time I read The Secret. My experience was, yeah, sounds very nice. Yeah, cool. I wish I could believe this. That was my experience, the honest one. And then slowly, I started discovering that it was true. And the secret, it's, you can read it at any moment. It's online. It's in mavisecret.net. I'm going to write the link. And it's quite short, but each paragraph is key. It's pointing to specific teachings. There's an explanation about why our feelings here, what's the intention, how our capacity of thinking creates things, and how can we misuse that capacity. So I would like to know who from here have already listened or read The Secret at any other moment. You can like raise your hand, do this. Okay, Zoe, Birdie, Jules, almost everybody, almost.
Was it new for anyone? Was this the first time for anyone? We're just wondering, we ask who it's new for instead of, since, is it okay? Yeah, we're just wondering who heard that for the first time, heard or read that for the first time today.
Melissa? Phyllis?
Yeah, okay, beautiful. Thank you for the chat. I just want to say, I know there are people that just don't like to unmute and share, and that's fine. If you want to share something or ask a question, then in the chat, you can direct message Azul or myself. We'll read it without your name, and then you can remain anonymous in our group, because we just don't want anyone to hold back sharing or asking. So yeah, so for anyone, what did you hear? What did you hear in The Secret today?
Or what are you not hearing? What sounds like, yeah, what about this? What is not resonating, or what is resonating?
Yeah. Shelley, go ahead.
First of all, when I read it, a few weeks ago, I thought, oh, how I wish I'd been a kid and heard this, and I wanted every kid I know to hear this. But the part that really sticks out for me is and she's got it in capital letters: feelings exist to warn us away from our thinking, to create trouble in our lives, and to guide us back to our natural, healthy ability to live our lives to the fullest. Somehow it seems like I'd never heard this before, and I think maybe I have in different ways, but it just became a really, really key, interesting point for me.
That's
what I'm hearing is something landed deeper for you. That it was familiar, but anything else about that, Shelley, that is what's landing deeper?
Okay. I think that it's more that I'd like to work with that.
Mhm.
Remind myself of it more often.
Can I share what I see in that specific part? Usually with everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Let's reread. Feelings exist to warn us away from using our thinking to create trouble in our lives. That first part, for a long period of time, I thought, okay, feeling is a warning. Okay, so I'm feeling anger, I'm feeling sadness. This is a warning. I'm using my thinking in a way that is harmful for me. So it was like an alarm system. What I realized later was that the meaning is feelings are here to let us know two things. Like the first thing is, this is what you're doing with your thinking. And let me explain that a little bit more. It's not that I'm using my thinking and I'm creating sadness just out of the blue. Sometimes we have a life situation, something really unexpected happens, and we can have any kind of feelings. Of course, every feeling is a thought. Thought and feelings are the same thing. It's like two sides of the coin. Now, when I have a feeling that I found unpleasant, let's say, it's telling me this is what you're doing with your thinking. And now, follow me. I will bring you back home. And I think that's key because at least I have been running away from certain feelings, chasing others, instead of just following the feeling that comes up. Now, how do I follow a feeling? Just noticing the feeling and sitting with it, with the sensation. We are going to explore more of that, but that's key. That's why it's in capital letters in this letter. That's key. So let's reread. Feelings exist to warn us away from using our thinking to create trouble in our lives and to guide us back to our natural, healthy ability to live our lives to the fullest. Guide us back to our natural, healthy ability. We have the capacity of living our life to the fullest, and feelings are here to help. So when we run away from feelings, we are running away from help. For me, it was a huge relief to realize, oh my God, I have so many helpers. They are coming all the time. And the more I allowed myself to follow them, the more and more I stayed more in a nice, calm, peaceful feeling. Sometimes it's extremely special. I feel one with everything. Other times it's just a calm, peaceful feeling, being at home. But this is not something for you to believe. This is something for you to experience and then see it working out in your life.
Yeah.
That if I'm feeling crappy, I am having crappy thinking, crappy thoughts, but I don't need to change my thoughts. I can just feel the feeling, and the feeling will bring me back home. It's not about managing our thinking, it's about allowing ourselves to feel.
Yeah, one thing that's been fresh for me around that, Azul, is when I feel the grief, the thinking that caused the grief goes by. And then I'm on to a new thought and a new feeling. Because I don't know about any of you, but my habit in the past was to really activate and energize and amplify the thinking by having thinking about the thinking. And I want to say we all see it. We all see it, in our own way. And Azul and I and all of you, we want to hear how you see it. Do the feelings take you to a new thought? Well, I don't know that, for me, I don't see, Anna, great question. I don't see that the feelings take us to a new thought. The stream of thoughts just continues to move on. Is that, Anna, does that answer your question?
What is happening to me lately is that when my mind is overthinking, I get into my body in the sensation that the feeling creates. And that automatically take me away from that, from the overthinking, and then take me to the thinking of the body. I'm thinking about my body. So I wonder if it's that. And sometimes it goes and I'm thinking about another problem that's happening, and I go back to the, so I don't know. I really don't know.
Well, I think what's happening, what I see is happening is that you're just becoming aware of your shift in attention. So your attention is on the thought, then your attention's on the body, then your attention's, so it's just where your attention is. And that's cool that we get immediate feedback where our attention is.
I also would like to add, Anna, is that going back to the book, like feelings and thoughts are exactly the same. Now, once I follow the feeling and I'm taking back to my natural, healthy ability to live my life to the fullest, just quoting this, in that place, new thinking shows up. That's what happens. Like when I focus my attention, I define our attention as a superpower, because it really is, like where our attention goes is what happens. So when I focus my attention from the feeling, from the story I was telling myself that created the feeling, to the physical sensation, I have moved my attention, as Ellen was saying. So then I am focusing in something that creates a different feeling too. And then I'm back, like for a new thought, fresh, whatever. Sometimes sounds too simple, sometimes sounds like a little bit complicated, but it's simple and profound at the same time. What are you hearing in this, Anna?
I'm hearing also, I just got this thought, who cares? Sorry.
Yeah.
I just thought about this. Who cares?
Yeah.
As long as I am, in this kind of myself, in that peace of mind, or wherever, in a calm place, doesn't have to be wonderful. Who cares? So forget about my question, please.
That's great. Anna, where'd you go? I want to.
Anna?
Anna, before you speak, I just want to say, I'm also aware that there are some people here who this understanding is brand new. And I just want you to know there is no question or no comment that would be unwelcomed or in the wrong direction, or because sometimes I'm amazed at the things that people hear for the first time when they're coming into this. So please don't be shy. Okay, where'd Anna go? Is she still here?
Yes, I'm here. Hi, Ellen.
Hi.
Thank you so much for this beautiful feeling. And I was on my phone before, and I just changed to the computer.
Okay.
Just seeing all your faces is really, really nice. When Shelley shared, she said that she had a something. She heard it, and there was a something in what she heard. And I'm really curious about how that something felt for Shelley. Because, in the theme of following the feeling, for me, that is the feeling of insight.
The feeling
of insight,
Insight, yes.
something that we are seeing from within that we don't quite have words for. And I see also as a good thing, because it's like a small state of no thought where you are in touch with that home within yourself. So I just felt that when Shelley was sharing, and I have the feeling that that's that's what is magical about this. That what Azul was saying is we can listen to something into different levels, and like Ellen say as well, it's landing deep. So I was very curious about that something. If you guys want to go there,
Well, Shelley, go ahead.
It was just an aha.
Yeah.
It was simple. It was very simple and yeah, refreshing and yeah.
And sometimes we can have that feeling. And I know in the past I would want to put words on it, like to make it real, to give it form, make it solid. And now I just love that the feeling, for me now, the feeling is enough. And that I call it like a formless insight. And I can just know that it'll show up or reveal itself in another way. Azul, do you want to say anything before we ask John to share?
Nothing else. It's perfect.
Okay.
John, would you like to share with us?
Yeah, absolutely. This is a great conversation. I really relate to what you're saying, Ellen, of how I used to get so compelled by the feeling and what I need to do about it to sort it out, get it to go away, get it to change. And it takes a little bit of time, I think. So I want to acknowledge people who are new to shift away from the focus on thinking to the focus on sensation and putting attention on sensation and feeling and kind of releasing thoughts. But I've definitely come to see and am still coming to see that emotions just need a loving space to complete themselves. There's not a lot you need to do to sort them out. And it's what you're talking about of following the feeling, letting it kind of complete its cycle, which maybe sometimes takes a few minutes or sometimes takes a few days, depending on circumstances and the intensity. And it finds its own natural course to completion if you hold that space for it. And then you can open up to exploring this spacious essence that you speak of. And so I'm in that shift. I'm still in that shift of trusting that there's not really too much to do about the feeling. Just let it be, let it complete. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Thanks so much. I'm hearing you. And I remember that also I thought that allowing the feeling to be with me, I thought I was allowing it. Yeah, welcome, anger, like, yeah, you're just a visitor. Yeah. And really, I just remember what happened and the blah, 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 and I was feeding it innocently. Or I was like saying, oh no, to my friend, I'm feeling so much anger. So I was creating a whole conversation around it. And it was also feeding it. It was my attention on it. Which could sound as I'm saying, remove your attention. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that in my case, I thought I was allowing the feeling to complete its process. And actually, I was all the time adding more attention and thinking about the feeling. Now I was thinking about the feeling without the story, but I was thinking about the feeling. So when you start seeing that you can do even less, just noticing the sensation, observing the sensation, how it moves through your body, nothing else. Your body takes care of it. There's nothing you need to do. It's more about,
It completes itself. It completes itself.
yeah,
It's like, when I know that, it's like, for me, it's that connection with universal intelligence completing it in its own time.
yeah.
And John, we're not like, oh, I love what you said. And it really resonated with other people in the room. Like, emotions need a loving space. Yes. And I just want to say, and they complete on their own timing.
Absolutely, yeah. And thank you for, acknowledging there's levels to this, and there's another level for me to peel back to become even more simple with the process.
And we, Azul and I, will be the first to say that there are endless levels, and we have no more access to those levels because we've been looking here for how many ever years. It's like we all have the same access to all the levels. And I'm so excited that there's many levels I'll never access. It's infinite. Like, there's something exciting for me about that.
For me, it's easier if I think about it not as levels, because to me sounds like, okay, I have to climb something, like my part that wants to like do stuff. Okay, how many Legos, how we do get there. For me, it's like you never end learning new stuff. It's like visiting a castle, and you go there, and there's a wonderful room, a blue room, a pink room, and there's plenty of more rooms, more gardens, more things to see, more things to enjoy, more things to play with it. And we all are already in connection with all of that. It's just about what we stop doing. We are already there. Like what I shared before, I stopped adding more energy to it. I stopped adding more attention to the process, which helped me to have even more energy, right? So this maybe says that a lot. It's all about what we stop doing, because truly we already have everything we need, and we are divine engineering. So we have to unlearn things that we were innocently doing, thinking that will really help us. So unlearning is easier than learning stuff. And that's why there are no teachers. We just share what we have seen. I have seen this. What do you see in that? And you all share something, and we see something in what you are sharing. So we are all like in this process of discovering. Life keeps it together. So who would like to share next?
Yeah.
Or ask? Or scream? Whatever comes first.
Just go ahead and unmute yourself and
I can go.
yeah. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Chris.
Hiya. Hi. I think what stood out for me this time listening to The Secret was one of the very first lines, which was it's like looking for your car key, which is in your hand. And I really heard that this time. Because I think when I've read it before, that'd probably be one of the lines I just, it just brushed over it. I just heard it in what you were saying, Azul, in terms of how we can almost like go looking for a feeling, like, oh, so it's the feeling that's going to help me. So how can what am I feeling? How can I find it? And, the truth is, like, as Mavis would say, the truth is always kind and simple. And, we innocently, we innocently think and think and think. And it's almost like I just have a visual of like, oh, just relax, just step back. And, if it's really that simple, I don't have to try and figure it out so much.
And sometimes we do, and then we have the experience of what that comes along with trying hard, you know.
Yeah. I love what you said, Ellen, about with our emotions, not like they run in their own time, right? And something that I notice is, like, if I have like a big emotional experience and I come out of it, I'll be like thankful, because it's kind of like, oh, that was a bit scary or unpleasant. But then I'll think like, oh, like, I wish it didn't last so long. Like, what did I do wrong? But it's like, well, no, you didn't do anything wrong. It's just part of life, you know. We have ups and downs, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, we do.
My vision is that we are alive here to experience life with every color, every emotion, every challenge. It's not a journey to just be like constantly in a calm state where nothing ever happens. I mean, if you look at nature, even if you look at a seed and like where a plant starts to grow, there is structure, there is beauty, there is also dirt, there's everything. So the amount of freedom that you can have when you realize that you are safe no matter what allows you to live this life, this kind of movie with everything that is in it, not just by leaving things to the side. And sometimes we get lost. And sometimes I use my thinking and I create problems, and then I have to clean after those problems. And then I realize something that I haven't seen before. So there are no mistakes. There are no mistakes. And for me, that's a huge relief, like knowing, oh, wait, there are no mistakes. Okay, let me try again. Let me create something different.
Anything else, Chris?
No, I don't think so. That's really nice. What Azul said, I just get the visual of, like, we get to experience all the colors of the rainbow, or, you know, like the full spectrum of life. And I think that's very freeing, because, like, it's like watching a movie. Like, you get to see all of the movie, you get to see all the characters, you know, you get to learn about things and get curious about things, and that's so cool, you know. Like, and I think that's really what's on offer, you know.
Thank you, Chris.
And for me, oh, go ahead.
No, but just wanted to say thank you.
Yeah, for me, then, the depth of love that I feel is greater than I've experienced before, and the depth of peace, and the depth of connection, and the depth of all of it. So, Anne-Marie, we're going to get to your question, but let's see what Divyesh has first, and we'll come back to Anne-Marie.
Oh, hi. Sorry, I'm not on the screen because it's 5:30, quarter to 6 a.m. I'm lying in my bed in the morning,
Totally.
and you guys are familiar with that because I always love being with you guys and Mavis. And my question is pertinent to what's happening in the last, God knows, months, or, well, not months, but yeah, months. A continual dread. I remember once I had asked Mavis the same question, like a continual dread, that feeling at the bottom of the tummy, you know, the feeling of fear, dread, I don't know, whatever. And she had said something to the effect of, okay, Divyesh, put your hand there and you will somehow, I guess, my interpretation, you can't think and feel at the same time, something like that. You can't think and feel at the same time. But I always get confused, like even now. Okay, I woke up just now to come to this webinar. I woke up immediately, there was dread. every day for the last 2-3 months, and I have a consistent a consistent issue of overthinking obsessively about the same 2 or 3 things, combined with excessive worry in the future, ruminating. And even if I have moments of reprieve throughout the day, which I do, that dread comes back, even if I'm washing dishes or something. And it's an impossible lock combined. Impossible, there's always possible, but it's impossible for me at the moment. Dread combined with overthinking and insecure thinking about 2 or 3 same things. Now, I get it and I don't get it. I'm always in and out of this. But this experience, if I wasn't in the principles, or I was talking to people who have no idea about principles, and they said, Divyesh, those are signs of depression. This continual dread, fatigue, this, that's depression. I said, okay, but not fully believing it. I mean, I'm here talking, hopefully, at 5:45 in the morning with a little shot of energy. That means there's something else there also. It's not like I'm dying, but there's dread while I'm talking to you, a continual one. Do you have any insight from your insights? I mean, I did ask Mavis before. That was a while ago when we were all there, and Christian. But I just don't. I try to do what the resonance asks, but dread, overthinking, obsessively worrying. 4.5 years in the milieu of the 3 principles, and I'm still here.
Azul, would it be okay if we invited everyone to tap into any feeling that's present right now, whatever it is, like to just feel it. Let's just take a moment to be in the experience that we've kind of been referring to and that Azul described before, but let's do it. So like, just feel the dread or feel whatever feeling that's present. And just keep on bringing your attention back to the feeling rather than the thought that created the feeling. Even if you're in a peaceful state, if you're in physical pain, whatever it is, just be with the feeling. And just in that moment, what happened for you? Divyesh, what happened for you just in that moment?
Just feeling the dread. It's sort of like below the diaphragm or whatever you want.
Yeah. And what if that dread was, like Azul said before, going, come on, come up to the heart. I'll show you the way.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Azul.
Naivesh, would it be okay if I guide you and we all, like all the rest of the group, can like do the same with any feeling that you like? Yeah? Okay.
Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Then you're already feeling the dread, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's go to your body. In which part of your body are you feeling it? What's the sensation, the physical sensation?
Just sort of below the diaphragm, like bottom, and whatever I can't describe it. It's just horrendous. It's a panicky feeling, like I've had panic attacks before I came.
That's a feeling, but let's look at the sensation in the body.
Oh.
Like in which part of your body are you feeling it? Is it under the diaphragm, as you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it cold? Is it warm? How is it, the sensation?
On top of the head, warm.
Okay, okay. I want now you to focus 100% of your attention in that physical sensation. If you catch yourself thinking in the story or the feeling, just go back to the sensation in your body. It's okay.
Hmm.
Okay?
Okay.
Now let's say that we can measure the intensity of the sensation in a scale from 1 to 5. And let's say that 5 is very intense and 1 is almost nothing. What number would be that sensation that you're having right now?
Right now, it's about 4, 3.5. Something.
Okay, okay, perfect. Keep focusing all your attention just in the physical sensation, allowing it to be there. You don't need to breathe deeply, you don't need to do anything. Just be an observer of the sensation. You're just watching what's happening there. Sometimes
Hmm.
sensation changes and shifts to a different area of your body. Is it still in the same area?
Yeah.
Okay. If the sensation would have a color, what color would be?
Oh, my rational thinking is kicking in. No idea whatsoever about the color.
Okay,
Uh,
don't worry, refocus on the sensation.
okay.
Just allow the sensation to be there. There's nothing to do. Just allow it
Mm.
to be there. And tell me if there is any change, if it gets more intense or less intense, or if it moves to a different area. Any shift, just share it.
There is a lessening because of, forget the because, there is a lessening.
Okay. Just don't think about you're observing
Yeah.
that the sensation is getting a little bit lighter, let's say. Okay, but
Yes.
keep
Yes.
focus all your attention in the sensation. Our mind usually distracts us. So you're going to catch yourself thinking about any other stuff. You go back to your body. Your body knows what to do with the sensation. There's nothing that is needed from you. How's the sensation now?
It is less. It is.
Mhm. Keep focusing your attention there and allowing it to be present. Remember, you're just an observer. So if we started in a 4 in intensity, what number it would be now?
Yeah. Probably 3, 2.5, something like that.
Mhm. Okay. Is it still in the same part of your body?
It's more concentrated in the center where the sternum would like be, like rib cage kind of thing.
Mhm. Is it warm?
Less warm.
Less warm? Any other sensation?
Nah, just a pull towards thinking, but I'm coming back to the sensation.
Mhm. It's not important if your mind like distracts you. The most important thing is that you go back and focus on feeling the sensation in your body. And you can also scan your body to check if there is any other sensation that is calling your attention.
No, everything else is clear. It's just this a little bit hanging around in that central lower bit of the tummy.
Okay, is it still a 3 in intensity?
No, it's less. But I might be because your voice is there. But anyway, it's less. It's less.
It's not me at all.
Yeah. I get that.
How are you feeling right now at this moment?
In the sensation sense, what a lot calm.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay.
The pull to think is always there, but
Yeah.
the sensation think is calm. The presence.
So we can now slowly come back, all of you,
Yeah.
to the room. The pull to keep thinking about stuff or getting distracted, as I have to learn because I'm a huge overthinker, is just a habit. It's what our minds knows how to do, and every time my mind was calling me in a certain direction, I was going there. So as any habit, the more I don't follow it, it gets less and less intense. Now, what we just did together, thanks to Daivesh, you're very generous for sharing all of this with us, is not an exercise, it's not a technique, it's an experiment that show us exactly how we create our feelings. When I asked you to focus your attention in the sensation of your body, you had no remedy but unplug your thinking of whatever story you were telling yourself. We are thinking things all the time. We are not capable of being aware of the hundreds and hundreds of thoughts that we are having all the time. So sometimes we have lots of thoughts and we're not really even aware of which thought. The good news is that we don't need to know what we were thinking. We just need to notice what we are feeling. Feelings are telling us, this is what you're doing, what you're thinking. Follow me, as we just did, follow me, follow the sensations in your body, and I will take you back home. Just a simple, common calmness state. And when we have a period when we are experiencing like intense feelings every day, almost all time, and we just learn to be with the feeling in this way, it's a moment for us to practice going back to the body and feeling, going back to the body and feeling. And the more you do it, because you are designed to work in this way, feelings gets less and less intense. And if there is anything for you to see that's important for you, some change, I don't know, something that's important for you to do in your life, you will see it from that clear, calm space in your mind. How are you feeling
Okay.
now, Lish?
Oh yeah, present. Just yeah, it's good. I just keep on reverting to overthinking, but now, as you say it as well from your experience, just go back to the feeling state and observe. Yeah, it's a habit. This habit has been there since I can remember in my life.
All
Overthink,
of us.
same issue, same insecure thinking, same attention, indulge, overindulge, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse. Like same thing. Anyway.
I'm sure, Divesh, that happens only to you and me. All the rest of the people, they're just walking an enlightened life where they don't overthink anything, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you both. Anne Marie, I'm wondering if that was helpful for your question of what if you think the feeling isn't helping you?
Yes, it was actually. With me, I was feeling intensely anxious this morning. It subsided a bit now, but it just brought me back to when I was judging the feeling, not wanting to feel that feeling. And part of the reason I came on this call tonight was because I thought, go on a 3Ps call, it'll help me stop feeling anxious. but again, that's just another thought, isn't it? You know, so yeah.
Oh, wait, say that again. You thought that 3P would help you stop feeling anxious?
Yes, because I haven't been on a 3 principles call for a while, for no particular reason, just life getting in the way, I suppose. And because I was having overwhelming feelings of anxiety this morning. And then I saw this come up. I thought, oh, great, I'll go on to the 3 principles call and I'll be calm. And it does help. I'll be honest, it does help. But I was just, when other people were talking, it just came to me that what if you're, like this morning, I was judging my anxiety and just wanting to stop feeling the way I was feeling.
Mm-hmm.
That was what my focus was on, to stop feeling the way I was feeling. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I know that it's, and I just want to say, like, we hear stories of people whose depression have stopped, whose anxiety have stopped, whose physical symptoms have stopped. We hear those stories. But when I have conversations with those people, they still have, most of them have shared with me, they still have those feelings, but they're less bothered by them. And on my journey here, every time I had an experience that I thought I shouldn't because I have this understanding, it just amplified it rather than, oh, have a pulse, still in a body, still having all the feelings, all the experiences. And that has seemed to shift my experiences for me. Rather than this like sign that because I'm having human experiences, I'm not getting the understanding, or I'm missing something, or I'm, fill in the blank. Fill in the blank. So, that it's just, it's really important to me that we all know that this doesn't stop us from being human. It just can ease the journey. Or deepen the journey. Like, I have never felt all the feelings that I feel now to the depth that I've had. Never. But it's a beautiful thing to feel. It's like a feeling of aliveness for me. And the other side of that is something shifted with my relationship with myself, so that I really have an experience. You can go after Mick, Michael. Thank you. I really have an experience of knowing that I'm not my feelings or my experiences. I know that anxiety feeling. I mean, I was medicated for anxiety, then I meditated for anxiety, anxiety, to reduce anxiety. Then I prayed. I mean, I did everything. And when Bill Pettit said to me something about being sensitive to the anxiety, it was like, that is the last thing that I want, was to be sensitive to any uncomfortable feeling. But what's come to me is like, I see it as just like this little tap on my shoulder. Ellen, you got on the anxiety bus. You know where that goes. You can get off anytime. Is that helpful, Anne Marie?
Yes, it is. Thank you. Yeah, definitely.
I'm so glad that you asked the question.
Can I add something to that?
Please.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what helped me was when somebody said, used the example of fever. Like, we know what fever is about, right? So there are some bacteria or something, my body is reacting, so I get fever, high fever. But when I have fever, like, I don't ask myself, how come I have fever? I know like how to like look after me and be healthy and blah, blah, blah. What I do when I have fever is that I just take care of myself in the most loving way that I can at that moment, right? I don't judge me for that. Now, the difference for me having this understanding. It's like, just imagine that nobody ever told me what is fever. So suddenly I feel terrible. My body hurts. I have headaches. My body feels very hot. I don't have any idea what's going to happen. I think I'm going to die. Something very, very terrible is happening. Now I know it's fever. And now I know it's fever, and I can notice that I'm having a little bit of fever. So I can quickly take care of myself and, I don't know, lay down, instead of just noticing something is happening when I'm 40 Celsius degrees. I don't know how much is that in Fahrenheit, but the more you notice faster what is going on, and you can follow the feeling, going back home, blah, blah, and that's it. And you can have the full experience of everything, as Ellen was saying. I also, when I listened about becoming more sensitive to everything, I was like, oh no, that's not what I'm looking for. Like, I really would like to just, because through this, we all have joined any kind of self-development, learning, or spirituality in order to feel better, right? Or to become somebody that is better, or to change something. But our invitation is to discover how wonderful we really are, how easy could be really living, and using that as wings to really experience the fullness of life while we are alive. That was my sharing, and I think Michael.
Mick was next.
Oh, Mick. Okay, Mick, and then after Michael. Okay.
Yeah, then Michael. Yeah.
Mick.
Hi there. This is just to say, I'm loving this. Really, really, really lovely. No, I put my hand up mostly in response to Divyesh. Because the way you were describing it, Divyesh, was very similar. Your sense of dread was very similar to a recent experience for me of depression, which I would say has been a kind of lifelong friend. And it's kind of followed me in little ways through all sorts of things, in a sense of lack of purpose, and in a way that has it rears its head. It has reared its head many, many times over the years, and I did lots of self-help to get my head above water. And when I came to the principles, it was hugely, it seemed to go away for several years. It seemed to go away for many years. And then every now and again, it would raise its head, and I would go, something would happen, and it would sort itself out. And more recently, in the last, let's say, 6 months, I would say, it started building up and started looking more real, so that anywhere I looked in my life, there was a reason, there was good evidence for being depressed. There was good evidence for hopelessness. There was good evidence for things were never going to work out. There was good evidence. And, functionally, I could be in 3 principles groups, and I could help people, and I could listen to people. And functionally, I was, people wouldn't know necessarily, but I knew what was going on inside. And I eventually I reached out to my primary mentor and coach, Jack Pransky, and we had a session together. And in that session, basically what he told me was, the same as Mavis's letter. He basically told me, this is what's going on. This is how life works. And, you know, all of my training with, mostly with Jack, he'd been telling me this, and my story about the depression had overridden what was true. It had put it had painted over the truth with this story. And I felt in that first session with Jack, I felt so uncomfortable because it was like having a mirror shone in my face. I felt like he's saying, he was pointing out that I was creating this. I was creating this. I had created this all my life. I had created this story. I had created this prison, if you like. And that was incredibly uncomfortable to see. Incredibly uncomfortable to, but at the same time, I knew it was true. And that was the, it was the space that allowed something to shift. And I've forgotten what I was going to say, but this, Azul's rooms in the castle. You know, I just spent way too long in one room.
Yeah.
I just spent way too long going back to that room and going, oh yeah, I know this fucking room. I know.
Yeah.
You know, and it's you know, I know every corner of that depression room, and yeah, it's yeah, I'm bored of it. I'm really bored of it. And thank you, Azul and Ellen, for, you know, you know, it's just like, and Jack, you know, showing me that there is other rooms. Yeah.
Hey, thank you, mate.
Thank you, Divesh. Thank you for
Lovely to see you. Thank you.
Lovely to be with you too. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Matt.
I'm always in awe of your getting up at this time of morning.
I know.
It's lovely to see. Yeah, Alan, Azul, and Mick. Always a wonderful presence. Thank you so much.
Michael, thank you for your patience. Michael Loring.
Yeah, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello? Oh, you can hear me. Oh, good. Yes. Yeah, my wife actually was the one who discovered this session, and so I decided I'd watch it. You know, I've been. She also loaned me the "It's That Simple," Mavis's book, and of course I read the first chapter, which is what we were talking about earlier. What really reminds, you know, this type of thinking is very simple, and it really reminds me of you know, having listened to Sid both at live seminars and watching his videos and listening to the tapes. Monica had tapes from the 1970s. Anyway, yeah, the thing is some of the phrases that he said, things like, look for a feeling. And to me, that said, my feelings, you know, tell me, they're like a gauge. They tell me what is the nature or the quality of my thinking. that's all it needs to do. And as soon as I go there and I go, yeah, that's right, I'm at peace, and I'm feeling very calm today. It's just been so neat to kind of listen to this, because I haven't been doing much of that lately. Mostly I read, and I had my own program for 8 years, and I had based it on the principles. So until I was forcibly retired, unfortunately. But no, it's always, whenever I hear words that remind me of what Sid had to say, it kind of puts me in a good place. I go, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you so much for sharing.
If you and Monica both have, if you and Monica both have phones, it's feedback. I'm going to mute you. Michael, I don't know if there's two.
Okay, it's fixed.
Well, now,
yeah, it's fixed now.
Yeah. Anyways, is there anything else you wanted to say, Michael?
No, not really. I just wanted to comment that when I hear Sid's words coming out of someone else's mouth, or it puts me in that place, and I find that I really tap into my feelings, as I said before. It's like a thermometer or a barometer. It tells you where your thinking is. And if I stop for a moment and go, what am I feeling like? I'm uncomfortable. Why is that? There's something going wrong with my thinking, So but it's strange. It just seems to bring me to a place of peace, rather than worrying about what I'm thinking about, or focusing on that. I just let it go. I drop the thought. It's I really appreciate what people are doing now more. Like I said, I've done a lot of reading, and I generally spend most of my time with looking at Sid's stuff. Anyway, thank you all. I really have enjoyed this time.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
So in our final minutes, any other comments, questions?
Anything. You
Anything.
can ask anything. Or share if you have heard, like if you really heard something fresh or new, or any questions you have about any topic. Soy, yay.
Hi. Having lived with myself for 60 some years now, it's wonderful to know that feelings really are my friend, and that during the drop into the feeling in your body, it was, there can be so much mental conversation going on in the head that is a major distraction to the felt sense that is where the wisdom lies. And yeah, there's just, once that experience happens where you can sense the mental chatter, the intellect versus the heartfelt wisdom source, there is a dramatic difference. And it doesn't mean that one's better than the other, because they are all divine engineering. It's just how we, or I, interpret or allow it to be there. I've had conversation, anyway, I don't need to go into that. I just have to
Yeah. It's been
But
very
you can.
well, yeah, it's just in helping others when we can see how they're in that caught in the looping of the thoughts and believing that the feelings are because of outside influence or somebody else. I just was and then it's okay. It's not coming to me right now how I'm going to.
Maybe you were reminded that we all do that.
Well, yeah. It's powerful, the experience. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm.
I wanted to say that whatever brought you here 90 minutes ago, like just tap into that whatever said, this is what I want to do right now. And to share my gratitude for giving Azul and myself one of the greatest gifts of hosting a meaningful time where people wake up, remember, see something fresh or not. You know, to know that we are all human and that we have a new user's manual for being human.
This has been an absolute pleasure being with all of you, like really with your sharings and just spending time with all of you. We are going to offer this program that we're going to start next Wednesday. It's, as Ellen said, it's based on Mavis' book, which is based on Sydney Banks' teachings. And it's going to be a journey of collaborative teaching, working, sharing, speaking, questions. We're going to address everything like feelings, moods, deep listening to others, to ourselves. We are going to start a journey that we kind of have certain intentions of. We have one direction. That's the thing we have. We have the direction that where do we want to look at? But what's going to happen is going to be a powerful creation from the group with us, with all of you. So if you're interested, I'm going to give you, this is like the part that is not so comfortable. I'm going to paste the link with the program information in case you would like to be a part of it. And thanks a lot for being with us today. And for those that are watching the recording, if you have any question, any comment, something that you would like to share, you can also like send us an email to Helen or to me, and we will like reply. Okay? Thanks so much.
Yes. Yes. And we both are available for one-on-one conversations. And I also want to say, especially for people watching that didn't get up at 4 or 5 or 6 a.m. I have a lot of clients and friends in the US that want evening time, which will be, you know, a decent time for those in Australia, New Zealand. So let me know. Email one of us and just let us know that you're interested. And we'll see if we can come up with a time that works for evening US and decent morning time in Australia, New Zealand, and wherever else is on that. Yeah. So.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask, are these your US clocks going back when and how?
We're going forward on Saturday night.
Saturday night. So I'll have a relook at your time. I would love to come live. It's just that's the thought is keeping me. But where will I wake up? Will I not? Will I not? But I've always done so without putting an alarm because I love. Somehow I'm drawn. Whether it was maybe or you know, I've always managed somehow or the other. So that's my.
Yeah.
It's very, very lovely to putting that on your program.
Well, we're just following wisdom's guidance. That's all that happened.
Thank you, everybody. Take care. Have a lovely rest of your day.
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you, Ellen and Azul. Bye.